Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the new Color Tops Walking Dead action figure of Michonne from McFarlane Toys. Now, I didn't collect the initial McFarlane Toys Walking Dead action figures because they were too small for my tastes. I like 6 to 7 inch scale figures, and those were like 4 inches or 5 inches tall. I wish they'd made them bigger. And McFarlane did make bigger ones, but they were too big. They were 10-inch scale figures. And I'm like, come on, McFarlane, 4 inches and 10 inches, just make like a normal-ass 6-inch, 7-inch scale figure, like you do with all your sports stuff, and like you used to. And now with this Red Tops line, they finally did. The Red Tops line's cool because it returns to the glory of the 6-inch, 7-inch figures, which I really dig. Now, I use the term figures a little bit loosely. A lot of people do because, you know, in the late 90s and early 2000s, McFarlane Toys came under, you know, some heat within the nerd toy community of calling their stuff action figures when, you know, they either have no articulation or very little articulation. You know, people would jokingly say that McFarlane action figures are just little statues. And, you know, that's pretty much the case with this. This is a little statue. Now, the Red Tops line does offer some articulation. They say about, you know, approximately 15 points of articulation on average. With this one, we get the 2 cuts at the leg. We get like a mid-torso cut. You know, there's the leg. We get a pointless head joint because, you know, she can only really look good in one direction. And then I think these are, I mean, it looks like an arm joint to me, but I don't know if that's just a plugged-in arm or if it's an articulated joint. Like, that looks like just a plug to me. So yeah, if you like articulation, you're not going to be impressed by this figure. But that's been the case with McFarlane Toys for a while, so this is nothing new. But as a fan of sculpting and of like details within the sculpt, I love this. It's just, you know, you can only have it in the one pose. The thing that I have to wonder is, what's the point of giving articulation if you can't articulate anything? Like, you don't want her leg to be in any other position because then she won't be able to stand. Her head only looks good looking in that one direction. Her arms are only sculpted to be in that one sword pose. So don't even bother putting in an arm joint or leg joint. Just commit to it being a statue. But whatever. This is a fantastic looking design though. Are you freaking kidding me? This is amazing work. Look at the detail within like her vest. I mean, one thing McFarlane Toys is always great at was details, 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 and the paint on this is just great. Just like the texture of her jeans, the sculpted texture, but also the blue and dark blue paint really do highlight all those details. Her boots look rad, those little gold buckles on them. Just the seam going down the inside of her pants, the wrinkling at the knees, it's just fantastic work. Like really, really, really strong stuff. And the pose she's in, it's a really badass pose. I think it looks really, really cool. Just like the definition on like her skin and her arms and like her muscle looks really, really cool. Her dreads are really well done, so that's good. Also, the details on her bandana, her little headband, so good. It's so well painted. I really dig it, and this is a great likeness. I don't know details, but I'm sure a 3D scan was involved to get this likeness, but the paint on her eyes and on her mouth, on her lips look good, but I think the paint on her headband is awesome, and her sword looks good. The figure does come with a few accessories. She comes with a little figure stand, which I'm probably going to have to use because the figure has a little bit of wobble to it. I mean, it stands okay, but it's questionable. And then also it comes with this, her little sword sheath, which is kind of annoying that it's not already on the figure, that you have to put it on her. There's my dog, so I'll use this cue to take the sword out of her hand and put the sheath over her shoulder now. I mean, I get that it's an accessory, but they could have just... If you could put the vest on the character, then you can put this sword sheath on the character too in advance. And it'd be nice to not have to... Well, maybe they don't want to have to lift her hair and put the little shoulder strap on. Maybe they want you to do it. In any case, there we go. There's that. And the sheath itself, you know... There's a little slot there on it, but it doesn't go all the way in because it's obviously not a real functioning sheath, because you're not going to take the sword out and put it in the sheath, because why would you? If this was a normal figure, you know, where it stood and had articulated joints and you could put it in different poses, I guess so, but you're going to have to keep this sword in display in her hand that way. I'll put the figure on the figure stand just to see how it goes. It's just the one plug onto the one hole on her foot. But yeah, it works. Looks good. And you know, it says AMC Walking Dead on it, so that's nice. In case you forget what show Michonne's from. This looks pretty awesome. Again, I just gotta reiterate, it all depends on whether you're into McFarlane's style of collectibles. If you like little statues, then you're gonna like this. If you like the detail within it, great. But if you're an articulation junkie, you know, there you go. It is what it is. I think this looks rad though. It's a really striking presence on the shelf. I dig it. I dig it a lot. I dig Michonne. I dig the detail. I dig the paint. You can tell I like this. So there you go. Thanks for watching, everybody. And follow me on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and subscribe to me on YouTube and all that garbage.